Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about an unusual issue that Vivek Ramaswamy should be thinking about how to solve when he is president in 2025. All right. So, the path to Vivek Ramaswamy's presidency, of course, is for him to be selected as Donald Trump's vice president. And what I want to talk about, the problem that I think he should be thinking very deeply about right now is parented orphans. It's a brand new problem, and I think it was recently highlighted by Hollywood. And I want to talk about it today. And I think Vivek should be thinking very carefully about it. So, one, Vivek is in orbit of Donald Trump, like many, many, many people. And he's waiting to be selected as Donald Trump's vice presidential candidate. And also, RFK just announced his vice presidential candidate. I can't somebody I care about was like, "Hey, did you see RFK? Had his VP selected?" And I was like, "Yeah, tell me who is it?" I was waiting for like Tulsi Gabbard, some kind of needle mover, right? Nothing. I couldn't tell you the name if you paid me $1,000. They told me the name. I'm like, I've never heard of that person in my life, right? But Donald Trump can actually, he can get a lot of benefits from selecting Vivek Ramaswamy. And I think that's becoming apparent right now, right? And so Vivek does need to be taking action to make sure that happens, but he also needs to be preparing himself for real world problems that we need to address. And the real world problem I think we really need to start talking about, because I don't think anybody is talking about this, is parented orphans, right? So what is this? Well, first of all, I saw it in Jurassic World. I'd never really realized it before. I never really noticed this issue, this parented orphan issue. But now it's hyper clear. So I love the Jurassic Park, and I love the Jurassic Park series and the Jurassic World series. I love them both. So recently, I had access to Jurassic World and Jurassic World Dominion, I think is the second one. Actually, Jurassic World 1 and 2. I could not see Jurassic World 3. It's not on any streamer, which is a little bit disappointing. But I watched Jurassic World. Chris Pratt, fantastic. He did a fantastic job. And then Bryce Dallas Harper, I believe that Bryce Dallas Howard, excuse me, Ron Howard's daughter. Bryce Dallas Howard, and I watched the movie and I absolutely loved it. But I was watching it and I was like, there's a part of it. Hey, this is fantastic. Guards are getting eaten by dinosaurs. Bad. Oh, look, that security guard just got chomped by a T-Rex. Fantastic. That's what I came here for. Let's get more of that, right? So I like watching people eaten by gigantic carnivorous dinosaurs. It's just fun, right? And Jurassic World does it better than any movies that have ever been put on film, right? Jurassic World, Jurassic Park, and Jurassic World, right? And I really enjoyed both trilogies, and I'm looking forward to the new trilogy with Scarlett Johansson. It's going to be fantastic. I can't wait. Bring it, right? But I'm watching it and I'm like, wait a second, this is deeply fundamentally sad. And I was like, what is this that I'm seeing, right? And so the story in Jurassic World, and I don't think people paid attention to this, is about Zach and Gray. And they are two children. I think Zach is about 15 and Gray is 10, okay? And they're children. But they have two married parents. But in this film, they're clearly showed to be for what they are. They're parented orphans. And we've really never seen this before. This is absolutely a new modern problem, right? And Hollywood is a very powerful force. People in Hollywood are not stupid. They're exactly like Donald Trump. They're not stupid. They're just incredibly immoral, right? But they do see the world clearly. I think Donald Trump sees the world clearly. I think he's brilliant and smart, right? He's just fundamentally immoral, right? And so, it's the same with Hollywood, right? And I have to admit, I really don't. I never understood why anyone voted for Donald Trump, right? Like I'm like, this is a devil's bargain if I ever saw one. Yes, you're going to get a great economy, but the morality of the country is going to be torn apart. I go to Hollywood for narrative. I'm an evangelical Christian. I can tell you right now, ain't no Christians writing compelling fiction. Right? Like it just doesn't happen. So I go to Hollywood for compelling narratives, compelling fiction, right? And they make a compelling fiction. There's just no two ways about it, right? And so the Jurassic World movie is absolutely brilliant, stunningly excellent film, and they're just doing a great job with it, right? And so the thing is moving along, and we reached, and yeah, and it's really fascinating. We reached this point where, in the movie, where Zach and Gray are these two, a 15-year-old child and a 10-year-old child, are sent to Jurassic World. And Hollywood put them there because they're like, we need somebody in this movie where people will care if they're eaten, right? And you're like, Owen, that's Chris Pratt's character. Nobody's going to care if he gets eaten by dinosaurs. He's constantly poking at them, right? Like, it's like if you're an animal handler and you're constantly poking animals and then an animal kills you, is anybody gonna get upset? Like you spent your life poking animals, like, and you get eaten by an animal, ain't nobody upset about that, right? Like, like Claire is, she is supposed to be a protagonist in this film, but it really, once you watch the film, you're like, does Hollywood actually know what a protagonist is? Like, I don't think they do, right? Because Claire is a villain by any metric, right? So listen to Zach and Gray. All right, these two kids are sent to Jurassic World, right? And they're sent by their parents who are getting a divorce, right? So these two parents have said, hey, we vowed to love each other forever. Then we had two children. We don't like each other anymore. So why don't we sacrifice the joy of our children for our own joy? Let's shatter their world, break our marriage apart, and tear them to shreds. And that's exactly what they do, right? And they lie to the kids about it, right? But they need time to like start the divorce procedures, right? And so they send their kids off to Jurassic World. So the parents don't care about the kids, do not care about the kids at all in any way. Like, just, they don't care about those kids, right? They send them to the mother's sister, Claire. Claire doesn't even remember they're arriving on the island. When they arrive on the island, she ignores them for hours until her aide takes them to her and interrupts her day. She then sees them for 1 minute to say, I'm going to ignore you for another 4 hours. I'll see you at dinner. She then only returns to the children when they are literally about to be eaten by a mega T-Rex, right? Owen ignores the kids, and the assistant of Claire only tolerates the children. Absolutely no one in the movie cares at all for these children. Not their parents, not their aunt, not Owen, this hero, and certainly not the Claire's assistant, right, who tolerates them at best. So no, absolutely no one cares for these children. And here's the thing. There's not a wealth issue here, right? These are wealthy parents. These are well-to-do parents. There's no issue of wealth. It is astounding. I watched this and I was like, Hollywood is saying this is the new world. Kids are not loved by their parents. They're not loved by their relatives. They're not loved by people who encounter them. They're not even loved by people who are paid to care for them. They're loved and given attention and focus from no one. They are parented orphans. And that's new. It's completely new. We have never seen this before in mass. Like, it is absolutely astounding just to realize how deep this issue goes, right? And so I think we need to acknowledge this, and Vivek needs to think very carefully about if the government should continue to encourage people to have children. I'm an evangelical Christian. I love children. I think we should have children. But we need to bring them into, I think children are good for society. But if society is not good for those children, is it wise to continue to encourage by taxes, by laws, and by policies to structure our society for something that we may no longer be capable of caring for? I'm not positive of that. And I think Vivek should be thinking very, very deeply about this right now. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.